how did Dominic actually remember that the word fix was on page 703? What is the technique that he uses? Well, what he does is this. He had an image in his mind of the word fix, and it was actually a picture in his mind of a guy called Jimmy Savile. Do you know Jimmy Savile? Right. Jimmy Savile, brilliant entertainer, gold rings, gold chains, all the rest of it, very memorable character. He had a program in the 70s and 80s called Jibble Fix It. So what Dominic did was to remember the word fix by linking it to the image of Jimmy Savile. So that's two things linked there, an image and a word. But he also had a location. And the location in his mind was 703. Now what he usually does when he goes to a particular area is that he will often walk around. So say in this case it was probably some part of London. He will walk around creating or linking images to particular aspects or locations within the town that he happens to be in. So Dominic, to remember what he needs to remember, does three things. He uses location, he uses images, and he uses words. And he links all of those together. So that is a pointer, I would say, for us in terms of if we want to remember something, we should use a technique that uses those sort of factors. Now, when you're writing your speeches, you're putting pen to paper. How many of us use that method of remembering? Very few. Often you'll write out the speech perhaps entirely. Some people will actually remember the speech word for word. Other people maybe use bullet points. But what this isn't doing is using the brain to its full capacity, and it isn't using that particular technique that the memory champions do of linking location with images and with words. Think about, for example, writing out speeches. It can often be like just writing something in the sand. The slightest breeze blows and it's gone. You can't remember your words. I know that twice in my Toastmaster career, using that sort of method, I've actually frozen. I didn't know what was coming next because I got interrupted slightly. So I didn't know what was happening next. What you'll see is with the memory map, it really doesn't matter if you're interrupted with people coming in. You can just pick up from where you left off because it's the use of locations. So, the question is, can you teach an old dog new tricks? Here is Mandit. Even Mandit now uses memory maps for when he wants to speak. So, I've told you one aspect of memory mapping, but there is another aspect about memory mapping as well. Let me just ask you this question. Who is regarded in the early parts of the 21st century as the top speaker? Any names to be volunteered?
Obama.
Barack Obama. He is regarded as the super confident speaker, is he not? Powerful speaker, very confident. Now, how is it that Barack Obama is so confident? How is it that he comes across as so powerful almost every single time you see him speak? Well, Barack Obama uses a particular device. He uses an auto cue. You know what an auto cue is? Everywhere that Barack Obama looks, he is surrounded by the words that he is going to use. You can see examples of Barack Obama speaking without the auto cue, and there is in fact a marked difference. Definitely, you can see it. And because he knows what he's going to say, because he's not chasing the words, because he's not trying to find out what's the next word, he can just come across as a really powerful speaker, totally confident in what he has to say. You too can do that with a memory map. You too can do that with a memory map, because the memory map acts like an auto cue. Once you have a completed memory map, this can be an auto cue for you. I showed you a completed memory map earlier on, and you will see that there are two things you can do. One, you can actually look at a memory map. You can have it just on a piece of paper like this, on a lectern or on a table, and because it's there, and if you know what or if you want to know what it is you want to say, you can just slightly glance at it, and you'll remember because of the link of the location and the images of the words. You'll know exactly what it is you want to say. And because of that, you too can be confident. You are not chasing your words. With a memory map, you don't actually need to know your words word for word, or your speech word for word, your talk, presentation, word for word. So, what I'd like you to do now to make another point is this. If you'd all like to just stand. And I'd like you to shake hands with the person standing next to you. Just shake hands with someone standing next to you. Okay, just shake hands. Now, shake hands with the person directly behind you. Not the person in front of you, just the person behind you. No, only the person behind you. Do not shake hands with the person in front of you. Only shake hands with the person behind you. Okay, are you shaking hands with the person behind you? Right, okay. Of course, it's impossible. You can't do it. You can't do it. There you go. Isn't that amazing? You've got this huge brain, 100 billion neurons and cells in your mind, and yet you still try to shake hands with the back of someone's head. But there is a serious point to this, and that's this. When you're shaking hands with the person sitting next to you, or standing next to you, you have got an eye contact. You've got eye contact and you've got a rapport. There is a connection between you both. When you're shaking hands with the person behind you, or trying to, the connection is completely broken. Eye contact, as many of you Toastmasters will know, is hugely important when you are speaking in public. Why? Because yes, it does create a rapport with your audience, but also it enables you to project confidence. Even if you aren't particularly confident, you look as if you're confident. And why is that important? Because if you look as if you're confident, people are more likely to believe the message that you have for them. And that can be very important at work, very important in the community, and in all sorts of other scenarios. So what you need is a method. You need a method that enables you to speak in such a way that you can maintain eye contact. And that, again, is what a memory map does. Because if you're talking to the audience and you can't quite remember what it is you want to say, you just glance, you can see an image, you can see words, you can see the locations, you know what it is you want to say, which means that you can maintain that really important eye contact. So, just like magicians who reveal their tricks, the really fantastic ones like my mate there, Tommy Cooper, who I actually met when I was 7 years of age, top man, he was. I now, the great McMahon, I'm going to reveal to you what the secret of memory mapping is. In fact, as I've been going along, you've been seeing the whole thing unfurl before. You've been learning, in a sense, without learning. And I'm going to tell you what that is in this workshop now. So what you've had is location, linked with images, and linked with words that enable you to know what it is you need to say. You don't have to know what it is you're talking about word for word. And if you use memory mapping, it enables you to be super confident. You can use it as an auto cue. You can be a powerful speaker because of that. And because of that, you can be a confident speaker. Thirdly, you're able to maintain eye contact. If you can maintain eye contact, hopefully people are more likely to remember what it is you've got to say, what your message is. Remember what your message is and understand and believe your message. So that is a completed memory map. If you just have a look at that now at the moment, you'll see that these images and these words were what I used to enable me to know what it is I wanted to say this evening. Each one of these images or this sets of words in the particular location was a trigger for what I needed to tell you this evening. You're going to be doing your own memory map in a minute in terms of creating a speech. But what I want to do is emphasise to you that to create a memory map, you do not have to download images from the net or go around snipping pictures out of magazines or anything like that. You can simply draw the pictures, put in the words, whatever you want to do. However bad you are at drawing things, it doesn't matter, because this is not about creating a work of art. What it's about is creating something that helps you remember what it is you want to say. That's a very important point there. So when you're doing this, don't worry about if you're drawing something to help you remember. When we get to that point, don't worry about the fact that it isn't, absolutely perfect. Whether you draw whatever it is that you'd like to, that helps you remember what it is you want to say. And you can use a single word, or if you want to use a sentence, if that's what helps you, you basically do whatever it takes, whatever works for you.